The story begins when Amon and Fujima was walking home in the rain. Suddenly, he saw a girl sitting on a swing with a sad face. Apparently, she was crying. He didn't understand why she was sitting here alone. Amon couldn't pass by and approach the girl. He asked her why she was sitting here, to which she looked at him in surprise and said that it was none of his business. The guy replied that she had a cold and might not return the umbrella, and simply gave her the umbrella so that she would not get wet, and left. The next day, Amon came to class and had a cold because he walked further home without an umbrella in the rain. To his classmates' questions, he answered that he gave an umbrella to one sad girl who was in the rain and he didn't know her at all. Then he saw her at the door. She was standing and talking with her classmates. Her name was Sina Mishiro. She was a popular girl in school because she was very beautiful, smart, and kind. She did well in school, also excelled in all sports, and was never arrogant. Given her uniqueness and popularity, the guy was even sure that almost all guys dream of dating her. When he had already gone home, the girl approaching her door called out to him. Amon lay down on the bed and immediately fell asleep, and at that time Sina made him a compress and brought him water. When he woke up, the girl said that he had slept for about 2 hours and fell asleep quite quickly. While he was sleeping, Sina prepared rice for him. She gave him a thermometer so he could change the temperature while she brought food. As he was about to do so, Sina yelled at him to wait for her to get out of there before he lifted his shirt. The guys always talked about how cute she was, and now Amon understood why. The girl brought him food, and when he took a plate of porridge, he was surprised by the pleasant smell and such care on her part. He tried the porridge and really liked it. After finishing his meal, he asked her why she was swinging alone on the swing in this weather. Amon suggested that the girl had a fight with the guy, and that's why she was so sad. This angered the girl a little because she didn't have a relationship, and it was strange to assume that if she was popular at school, she would definitely be dating someone. She did not want to start a relationship at all during this period of time. Sina replied that at this time, she just wanted to be alone. Then the guy said that if she didn't need anything from him, then she didn't need to communicate with him anymore, and the guy doesn't want to take advantage of her feeling of guilt for being sick. All good deeds are done just like that without any benefit. The next day, he was back as usual and feeling much better. He met Sina everywhere and understood that she was an unattainable ideal, and he most likely would not achieve friendship with her. In the evening at home, he went out onto the balcony and ate jelly. Sina noticed this and said that it was not normal for him to eat so poorly and told him to wait for her. A minute later, she rang his doorbell and brought him some food she had left over from lunch. He called the girl an angel and thanked her. She reacted negatively to the nickname she was always called by and asked not to be called that anymore. In the morning, he came to return the container with food, but the girl gave him another one filled with food. She said that she still cooks more than she can eat, so he will help her get rid of excess food. After that, she cooked him food every day and gave him a container of food. One day, she once again came to pick up a container of food from him and heard some kind of hum in his apartment. When he opened the door, the guy fell right in front of her. He said that he had finally decided to clean up the house. The girl noticed this and decided to help him with this. As they were cleaning up, Sina slipped and fell right on top of Fujima, and now they were sitting on the floor together. This situation embarrassed the young people, but that's why they cleaned up so that something like this wouldn't happen again. As they stood up and began to move on, the girl felt her heart begin to beat. After cleaning, they were pleased with the result. They no longer had time to go to the store, so they decided to order pizza. When they sat down to eat, Sina was surprised by the food, and it turned out that she had never ordered takeout. But the girl said that the housekeeper always cooked for them. The news that she was from a rich family shocked the guy a little. Sina tried the pizza and liked the regular delivery food and enjoyed eating it with Amon. In the evening, she began to leave him, and before leaving, he asked her a question about what was the benefit of Sina feeding him. The girl replied that she was stroking her pride. She found it much more pleasant to cook for someone than for herself. They said goodbye, and she went home. One day, Fujima was walking home from school and met Sina on the way, who was sitting in the yard. He approached her and asked what she was doing here, to which the girl replied that she was just sitting here, and before that she removed a cat from a tree which could not get down on its own. But the guy realized that something was wrong. He looked at her clothes and legs and realized she was hurt and told Sina to sit there. A couple of minutes later, he came with a first aid kit and gave her his jacket so she could cover herself and take off her tights, and he turned away. The girl obeyed him and obediently did as he said. Then he treated her wound, and the girl felt much better. Amon gave her his sweatpants to cover her bare legs and wound, and a sweatshirt to cover up so no one could see her. With him, he carried her home safely on his back without anyone seeing them. When they were already there, the guy wished her recovery, and they said goodbye, and he didn't even take her clothes. The next day, Amon showed up to gym class wearing shorts, and Sina sat on the steps and looked at him. She did not go to physical education due to injury. In the evening, the girl came to the guy to give him his uniform, and in return she gave him food. It tasted much better and looked more beautiful than usual. This was a reward for help. For this he again called her an angel, but she again reacted negatively to this nickname. The food was cold and had to be microwaved, and the guy wanted to eat it fresh, so they thought about it and decided that Sina would cook right in her kitchen, but at the same time they would have separate bills for food and cooking items. If you need anything other than groceries, Aman buys it. If someone will not be at dinner, you need to give a day's notice. When the girl arrived, she noticed that the dishes were untouched. It was clear that no one had cooked on them. Sina chose the menu at her own discretion and therefore told the guy to sit down and not interfere while she was cooking. The guy watched the whole process. Finally, when the food was ready, Aman couldn't wait to try it. As he ate, Sina noticed his strong appetite and how delicious it was to him. He didn't notice how he ate everything that was on the table. He decided to wash the dishes himself, and while he was washing, he thought about how lucky he was, although he was prepared by a girl who didn't like him as a guy. All this was only out of gratitude, and because she felt sorry for the guy. The next day, Aman came to school, as usual. A friend approached him and began a dialogue with him. He kept asking when he got his girlfriend and telling him how great it was to be in a relationship. Then his friend's girlfriend came up to him, and the guy stroked her on the head. During the conversation, the girl heard that they were talking about wearing clothes and decided that Aman had a girlfriend. But he didn't have a girlfriend, so he reacted nervously to the thought. The other day, he remembered that Sina's birthday was coming up and he wanted to give her something. He tried to ask her what she wanted, but the desired answer did not come from her. He had no choice but to turn to his friends for help, who pestered him with questions about the girl. Although he was quite embarrassed to ask for such a thing, he was still able to negotiate with his friend's girlfriend to help him choose a gift for Sina. He lied that it was just some friend who had a birthday. When he came to see Sina on her birthday, he thoughtfully gave her a pink bag with a gift. The girl was embarrassed and grateful. Although she does not celebrate her birthday, she also asked how he knew about her birthday, to which the guy replied that she dropped her student card and there was a date of birth on it. However, the girl was very happy with the gift, and the young people were embarrassed. The weekend morning began with a knock on the door of Aman's house. When he opened it, his mother was standing. They're wanting to enter his apartment and missing her son very much. The guy tried to dissuade her for a long time, but in response to the argument that she was paying the rent, Aman still let her in. The woman looked around the apartment and appreciated the cleanliness here. When she wanted to enter his room, he began to fiercely defend it from her. His mother decided that her son was hiding something from her, but he replied that it was none of her business and did not let her in. In fact, when the woman suddenly came to him, Mashiro was already at his house, and the guy told her to enter the room and not leave until his mother left, and even gave her the key to the apartment. Therefore, he did not want to let his mother in so that she would not think that this was his girlfriend. But the woman still entered the room and saw his secret. Mashiro sat sweetly in the room and slept hugging a pillow. The woman immediately began to ask about her, why he hid such a beautiful girl for so long. The guy tried to justify himself, but the veto was useless. At that moment, the girl looked at them, and the woman immediately approached her to meet her. The woman introduced herself as Shako and asked to be called that. The woman asked why when they are in a relationship they call each other by their last names. But even this fact did not convince the mother to believe that they were not in a relationship. When they were already sitting in the kitchen, the woman asked them more and more about her family and their relationship. Every time the girl tried to answer, the woman interrupted her. But she also assumed that they lived together, given the fact that she cooked for him and cleaned the apartment. She praised her son and said that Mashiro was lucky to have him. This was the last straw, and then the guy told his mother to leave here since she disturbed them and did not even warn them. Shako agreed, but before doing so, she called Mashiro over and asked for her phone number. She obediently gave it, and the woman was able to leave. Immediately after this incident, they both sat on the bed and began to discuss this situation. Although Aman's mother was loud, the girl could see how much she cared for her son and how lucky he was to have her. She called him by name at a time when his parents never called Mashiro by name and did not care the way Shako did for their son. Then they thought about their names and came to the conclusion that calling each other by name was not so difficult, and they decided that they would always call each other by name, but not in front of others. The school announced the test results, and Mashiro, as always, came in first place. Everyone was just talking about how wonderful she was, not just very smart, but in reality, she worked hard to improve her grades. She liked to study, and Aman knew this very well. He decided to give her something in honor of the fact that she was the first among the students. He bought a cake for the house, and Mashiro found it in the refrigerator. The guy answered all the questions that were asked of her. When she tried the cake, she really liked it and was delighted with the taste. The guy looked at her all the time, and the girl noticed it. She decided that he too just wanted some cake, and handed him a piece on a fork. Amon was very embarrassed, but ate a piece. The girl didn't see anything like that. Here. Then he responded by feeding her cake from his hand, and then Mashiro became even more embarrassed than the guy. At school, his friend Aiko and girlfriend Shawa offered to celebrate Christmas with him. Amon initially refused, but then his friend's girlfriend started teasing him that he just wanted to celebrate with his girlfriend. In the end, they managed to persuade him, and Amon agreed. He asked Sina not to come to his house for the holiday, yet as his friends would come to him. But he decided that the girl would be quite lonely and suggested celebrating with her later. Mashiro agreed, but did not know how to celebrate Christmas, so she suggested just playing on the console since she had never done that. Amon, although surprised, agreed to play with her after his friends left. When they were already at his house, they flirted and talked happily, and of course teased Amon. They said that if he does not have a girlfriend, then he is definitely not indifferent to his friend to whom he gave a gift. But the guy admitted that this was his neighbor and she was preparing food for him, and he decided to give her a gift for this, but he didn't say that this neighbor was Mashiro. At that moment, the first snow fell on the street, and friends joyfully ran to the balcony to look at it. When they came out, they were very shocked. After all, they saw Mashiro on the next balcony, catching snow with her hands. They clearly didn't expect to see her here. The guys invited her home to celebrate with them. They questioned her a lot and made her feel embarrassed with their questions, especially Shawa was loud. She asked her about her care, praised her appearance, and also called her an angel. They had never seen the popular girl this close. A friend's girlfriend proposed friendship to Sina, and they became friends. She introduced herself as Shirakawa. They talked a little about cooking, hobbies, and life. And then the friends went home, and Mashiro and Amon stayed at home and looked out the window at the snow. She called it a white Christmas because of the snow. The guy apologized to the girl for his intrusive friends, but she said that she was even having fun. Then the girl brought dinner which she had prepared at home, and they had dinner together. Mashiro noted that every time he ate her food, he seemed happier, and he was very complimentary of her food, to which she was very humble and said that it wasn't that good. But Amon replied that she should improve her self-esteem. While he was washing the dishes, he asked how she knew so many recipes. Sina replied that the maid always said that the way to a man's heart which will make her happy is through his stomach, and she just really loves to cook. She said the woman who took care of her cooked like a goddess. She has yet to grow up to her level, and her food tastes like happiness. And then the guy said that her food also seemed like happiness to him. These words were pleasant for Mashiro, although she was very embarrassed and even blushed from this. Another day, the two of them got together to play games on the console as agreed. The girl did rather poorly as she was playing for the first time in her life. Because of this, many awkward moments occurred that made both heroes blush. Immediately after the games, they started talking, and Sina noted that before the guy seemed more well-groomed and dressed better. Moreover, Sina learned about this from his mother because they had previously exchanged phone numbers. At some point, she crawled up to Amon and removed his hair because then his hair was well-groomed and shorter, and now she can only see his eyes if she removes his bangs. From that moment on, they both began to feel shy and blush. At some point, Sina gave him a gift. She gave the guy a scarf. He was very flattered by such a gift and thanked her, which pleasantly embarrassed the girl. He said she seemed to relax around him and was starting to get used to it. This confused Sina even more, and she decided to go out onto the balcony. She stood and looked at the stars, and Amon came up behind her and threw a cape over her so that she would not freeze. They both stood and looked at the starry sky and felt complete happiness. The next day, Mashiro was getting ready to go somewhere and decided to stop by Amon on the way. It turned out that she had a cold and her temperature was 38 degrees. The girl did not feel that she needed to lie down and be treated, but the guy picked her up in his arms and decided to force her to go to bed. When she realized that she had no choice, she chose to stay in Amon's bed for treatment rather than forcing him to break into her house. As a result, the guy took the girl to his bed and spent the night in another place. He helped her and was by her side. The girl was embarrassed by him, and she was embarrassed that he was wasting his time on her. But for him, it was not a difficulty and even a joy. Before going to bed, the girl grabbed him by the leg of his trousers as if asking him to stay. He stood for a moment and took her hand so that she would not worry. The girl wished him good night and closed her eyes, and the guy waited for her to fall asleep. The next morning, Amon came to check on Mashiro and said that she was not feeling very well yet. The guy prepared her breakfast and brought it to her room. Then he took a chair and sat next to her. He wanted to be next to her, and anyway, he had nothing to do, so he decided to talk to her. At this time, one day, they were sitting at home and celebrating the new year. Everyone immediately started writing congratulations both on Mashiro and Amon's phones. Friends, and even his mother wrote to the guy and congratulated him on celebrating this new year with Mashiro, to which the guy reacted negatively. At some point, the girl fell asleep and leaned on him, and At some point, even fell on him with her whole body. When he tried to wake her up, this confused the guy, but at the same time he liked it. It felt good to hold her in his arms. He didn't know what to do, but the only way out was to just put her to bed and lie down on the sofa himself. In the morning he woke up, but the girl was still sleeping. He watched her for a while and noticed that she was very beautiful at that moment. She woke up and was unhappy that he was touching her cheeks. Soon their parents arrived. This time they warned about their visit in advance. They sat down to have lunch together and at the same time met Michiro. At some point the woman started talking about how she had long wanted to take her to the temple and put on a kimono. While the woman went to collect Michiro, with great pleasure her father helped Amon get ready. He said he should take better care of himself. When the girls came out and the guy saw Michiro, he was shocked by her new image. He couldn't even say anything, although her parents gave her many compliments. When her parents left to get ready, he told her that she was very beautiful and looked like a real Japanese beauty. She was surprised by this compliment and also told her in her ear that he was very handsome, and the girl ran away, leaving the guy at a loss. And then they all went for a walk together. While they were walking, a large number of passers-by looked at the girl. She was so beautiful. The first thing they did was pray, and Sina prayed the longest. When they went to choose drinks, the guy even asked her what she was praying for, to which the girl replied that she wished for good health. As they stood and drank their drinks, Amon became curious about what Michiro was drinking and asked to be allowed to try it. The girl was embarrassed but still gave the guy a taste of her drink and drank a little of his drink. Sharing food and drink seemed personal to her, which is why she feels so embarrassed. But she remembered that they were friends and friendship did not disdain such things and became embarrassed. So they decided to stop paying attention to it. At school, Michiro began to hear rumors that she had a boyfriend, but no one knows who he is. But everyone thought he was very handsome. Someone saw Michiro with someone else at that festival and assumed he was her boyfriend. At home, Amon talked about the rumors at school that the girl had a boyfriend. They did not attach much importance to this, but decided to be more careful and wait until the rumors died down. Amon suddenly said that there wouldn't be a couple because he didn't deserve her. The girl reacted negatively to these words and advised him not to talk about himself like that. She didn't notice how she began to praise him and talk about how wonderful he was. All this hurt the guy. He was pleased to hear it, but out of embarrassment, he went to wash the dishes so as not to look into each other's eyes. Valentine's Day is coming up, and Shova consults Amon about gifts. They also talked about feelings. Shirakawa said that a brave guy would have climbed under Mishiro's skirt long ago, and Amon is afraid to even give her chocolate. Sina heard all this and almost spilled tea on the table. But Amon said that it was impossible to do this, and their relationship was not like that at all. She said that she would give chocolate to her boyfriend and friends, including him, but he didn't really like sweets. So the girl agreed to give him something not very sweet. When Sina joined them, she said that she would give chocolate to the owls and friends from the class. When asked if she would give something to the guys as well, Sina replied that she couldn't make that much chocolate. On the day of the holiday, everyone was already giving each other chocolate. His friend told him to make it himself because it was a very spicy chocolate. She was not as good at cooking and housekeeping as Michiro. When she gave him the chocolate, he didn't dare try it. Shirakawa gave him sweet and dark chocolate, but he had to guess which was which. They looked the same. The most popular boy in school was given a lot of bags of chocolate, and he did not expect to receive so many sweets. So at the end of class, Amon walked up to him and gave him his grocery bag so he could carry all the gifts. He was surprised by such a gift but did not mind. When he started tasting the chocolate, he immediately felt a very spicy, tangy taste. Michiro guessed from his face and brought him hot chocolate. She didn't admit it right away because it looked like cocoa, but it was still chocolate. He tried it and really liked her Valentine's Day gift. The girl blushed and ran away to her home. The guy did not understand this reaction and went to the door behind her. There he found a package with a postcard in which the girl thanked him. He found chocolate-covered oranges in a pink bag. They were not very sweet, but he liked them and ate them with great pleasure. He was expecting a gift from Michiro and was extremely happy. At school, a popular guy approached Amon and thanked him for his help. And now Amon can ask him for help too. Everyone whispered when they saw them together because it was not often to see them communicate at all. Arriving home, he asked Michiro what she would like because she gave him chocolate, but the girl replied that she gave it away of her own free will. And then he decided that he would choose a gift for her at his own discretion. He went to a jewelry store and together with a consultant chose a piece of jewelry that was popular among girls her age. Arriving home, he combed his hair and handed over the package right in the corridor. She was surprised by the gift and its appearance and was very embarrassed. He was about to go to the bathroom to do his usual hairstyle, but Michiro stopped him and told him that he was handsome and everything was fine. She quickly ran to unpack her gift on the sofa. She took out the box, and when she opened it, she saw a cute bracelet which made her happy. She also found a coupon for making a wish come true, and wished that the guy would put this bracelet on her and her wish would come true. After a walk with a friend, he came home, and the girl was just preparing dinner. But he had already had lunch with a friend, which Mashiro didn't like because she had already prepared the food. But then she decided that it wouldn't be bad for the guy to gain weight, to which the guy answered the same about her and took her hand. But he quickly calmed down and apologized for touching her without permission. But then Mashiro suddenly said that only he could touch her, but then she blushed and realized that she had said something stupid. She meant that she just trusted him. He decided to change the subject and noticed that she didn't have a bracelet on her hand. The girl said that he simply interferes with her cooking and will quickly deteriorate if treated like this. Mashiro said she would keep it for the rest of her life and would only wear it on weekends. He was confused by her words because he was grateful to her for everything she does for him, and they really looked like newlyweds. He locked himself in his room and sat on the floor thinking about their relationship. One day a friend approached Amon and asked him to spend the night with him. Having quarreled with his father, Aiko wanted to marry Shirakawa in the future, but his father did not like this girl at all, and he was against marriage even in the future. Therefore, he and his father quarreled, and the guy decided to leave home. He agreed, although reluctantly, because the holidays were coming soon. Anyway, Aiko followed Amon on his heels. He talked about how lucky he was with Mashiro, but Aiko was especially surprised when the girl prepared dinner. That night they talked, and Aiko said that the guys in the class thought Amon was gloomy and strange. It's all because of his appearance and the fact that he doesn't show his character. But Sina saw him for real, and Aiko was sincerely happy for his friend that such a person as Mashiro was next to him. The next day, Shirakawa joined them after hearing that Sina was preparing delicious food there. The couple cuddled to each other all the time, and this irritated the owner of the house a little. Shirakawa spent the night at Mashiro's and the guys at Amon's house. In the morning, Shirakawa sent a photo to Amon where Mashiro was holding a teddy bear in his arms and wearing a nightgown. When he saw her, he really liked her in this form, and he blushed. His new roommate even filmed his reaction. But the next day, the friend moved in with his girlfriend, and they didn't bother the guy anymore. Sina and Amon were sitting on the couch, and he said he saw a picture of her with that teddy bear. The girl said that she loves this bear very much and even sleeps with him. Afterwards, she thought she had said something stupid and blushed. She was so embarrassed that she asked Amon to tell her something embarrassing about herself, otherwise she will ask his friend about it. But during the dialogue, she cooled her ardor and they changed the topic. At that moment, someone texted her on her phone, and when she looked, shock and surprise were visible in his eyes. One day, Amon was walking home, and on the way, he saw Mashiro standing near her door and some woman standing with her. He approached carefully and overheard the conversation. The woman called her worthless and that she was like her father. She wanted to get rid of her, and she went to university. And when the woman left, the guy approached Mashiro, and she immediately realized that he had heard everything. The girl was already used to this, and her mother never loved her. Amon's eyes showed sympathy, and he took her hand. He asked her to stay with him, and that was his wish. Then she came to his house, and the girl told this story. On the day of their first meeting in the rain, she just sat there. Then she was told that she was an unwanted child in the family. Her parents married for convenience and did not love each other at all. They didn't plan to have children either, but it so happened that Mashiro appeared. Her parents never loved her, cared for her, and no one cared about her. At that moment, Amon covered her with a blanket and hugged her. He began to console her and say that he was next to her and she was no longer alone, and even almost confessed his love to her, but got out of it in time. He may temporarily forget everything she just said, and the girl will simply cry on his shoulder. She took advantage of this moment and cried right in front of him. After a while, she regretted it because she showed her weakness. But he again consoled her that everything was fine and that he would not tell anyone anything. Then she invited him to go for a walk, to which the guy agreed. They walked along the alley where sakura blossomed. Mashiro said that she never liked these trees in spring. In the spring, she feels more lonely than usual, but now she was not alone. Her friend Amon was with her, and she also wanted to be close to him. Starting from the new quarter, they were distributed into new classes, and it so happened that the friend were very lucky to study together. And Mashiro also now studied with Amon, even though his friend saw his true emotions. Even the most popular guy learned from them and intended to become friends. When he greeted Amon, the guy awkwardly returned the favor. But looking into his eyes, he remembered high school, where he was also offered friendship. But friendship grew into betrayal, and they began to persecute him. Since then, he has practically not become close to anyone. He had been thinking about this all day, and Sina noticed his dejected appearance. She looked at him and tried to touch his hair, which seemed beautiful and soft to her. She invited the guy to lie on her lap, so it would be easier to stroke him. The guy lay down on her lap, although at first he was shy and didn't want to. While she was stroking his hair, he really wanted to sleep, and the girl allowed him to do it. When he woke up, Sina said that he already looked much better and told him that he could contact her and speak out if he needed it. One day, he won toys from a vending machine and brought them home. There was a big bag of toys, and the guy considered it a real trophy. He gave all the toys to Mashiro, but she especially liked one plush toy, and it was a plush hare. At that moment, the guy smiled, and this confused the girl very much. She thought he was laughing at her for acting like a child, but he said that she was just very nice. She really liked the toy, but she said that he had already given her a lot of gifts, and she had practically nothing to give in return. Self-confidence gave her much more, and as a gift, they agreed that she would prepare pudding for him. The guy has always liked her food, which only made the girl happy. They had a strange relationship. At school, they couldn't get too close, otherwise rumors would start spreading. Mashiro didn't like the fact that he could easily communicate with everyone, but she couldn't. So they agreed that they would approach each other carefully until they became friends in public, which they did. One day at school, they were given an assignment to cook something together, and they had to find a few people to work as a team. Shirakawa and Aiko called their new friend Deanna and Amon himself. While they were cooking together, several guys got in each other's kitchen and accidentally knocked over a pan of hot liquid. She would have landed on Mashiro, but Amon ran up and pushed her away, hugging her from behind. Then he began to swear at these guys that they almost injured a person. This one ended up looking pretty manly, and they both mopped the floor. At home, they talked about it, and the girl was actually pleased that he did this for her sake. She said she would likely distance herself from him at school if he felt bad for saving her, and now they would be talked about if they continued to get close. But the guy patted her on the head. Since Mashiro still had that wish coupon, she wanted to use another one. She asked Amon to go shopping with her and carry her bags, and not only shopping, but to the places that she herself wants. One of these days, Shirakawa is supposed to come to her, and Mashiro will teach her friend how to cook. When she arrived, they talked for a while and reminisced about Valentine's Day and Shirakawa making hot chocolate. The time came for cooking lessons, and the guy decided to sit at the end of the kitchen and watch. While he was watching, he immediately fell asleep. When he woke up, he noticed that he was sleeping on Mashiro's shoulder. She said that as soon as she sat down, he leaned against her, and her friend was already looking at them and saying how cute it all looked. Then everyone started eating the food the girls had prepared. Amon liked their food, and the girls were very happy about it. When the friend had already left, they began to discuss tomorrow, and the girl asked what she should wear: modest clothes or more confident and mature ones. The next day, she just combined two different styles and went like this. She thought the guy would laugh at her, but that didn't happen, and she was grateful for that. Amon combed his hair and dressed more beautifully than usual. The first thing they did was go to a restaurant. With cats, the first cat simply sniffed the girl but did not purr or rub against her. Then they went to eat and drink. Sina had a drink with an edible form floating in it that looked like a cat. She was incredibly sorry to spoil such beauty, but it was even more unfortunate to leave it like that. When she took a sip, white spots formed under her nose, and the guy decided to take a photo of her. Sina didn't quite like it, but she allowed him to leave one photo. She felt awkward and was unlikely to allow anyone to do this to her, but she trusted the guy and loved him. But the other cat lay down right on his lap. Then Sina noticed that the cat who at first did not want to get along with her was now lying on Amon's lap. The guy just said that this cat looks like Mashiro, and he just knows how to approach her. Mashiro didn't like the guy comparing her to a cat, but cats are cute, and Amon thought so too. Deep down, she liked all the nicknames and cute nicknames that the guy gave her. She didn't show it. They walked past a clothing store, and Amon saw a beautiful dress that would suit Sina. While she was trying on one of them, two girls approached him and wanted to meet him. And at that moment, Sina came running and took him away. It was clear that she was jealous of him, but did not show it. After the store, they went to the toy machines, and the girl wanted a stuffed cat for the guy. She gave it to him as a keepsake. They sat and discussed this on the couch. And at that moment, Kataki, the most popular guy in school and Amon's friend, approached them. He decided that they were dating, but after they talked a little, he realized that they were just friends, although it was more like a couple. He promised that he wouldn't tell anyone. When they were driving home, they discussed this, but did not attach any importance to it. They realized that Kataki was a good guy and a friend. The next day, he went to meet his friends, but they didn't give him access and kept asking questions about Sina. They couldn't believe they weren't dating. After all, Sina acts like a girl in love, and usually girls don't trust Amon as much as Sina, but she's definitely in love, just like Amon, because she allows it. When he arrived, he told everything to Sina. At that moment, he noticed that she was hiding something from him. It turns out that the guy's mother sent Sina childhood photographs, and she wanted to calmly look at them. The guy wanted to look at them himself first, and he was shocked when he found out what his mother had done. He reached for Sina's phone, but couldn't resist and fell right on top of her. They found themselves in an awkward position and both blushed with shame. It was just an awkward situation, but it was very embarrassing for people in love who denied it. Still, the girl opened the phone and showed the photographs. They turned out to be not so scary and personal, and the guy allowed the girl to look at them. On the eve of Mother's Day, Amon, together with Sina, were thinking about what to give her, but they came to the conclusion that they would simply order flowers and a car to their home. Then the girl asked why her parents allowed Amon to live alone if he could not manage the house. And then he told the story of his life, why he even wanted to move and live separately. He was lucky with his family. They lived in abundance, and there were no problems. At his old school, he had friends, with whom he had a good time, with whom he showed himself and behaved openly. But one day, he heard them talking about him. They whispered behind his back and said a lot of bad things. It was a knife in the back. He came out to them and said that you can't even talk like that about friends. But they simply said that they used him for money and never considered him a friend. Since then, he no longer trusted anyone and became withdrawn. Amon couldn't forget about this and live his old life, so he decided to move and start a new life where no one knows him. When the girl heard this story, she said that after hearing what she heard, she wanted to knock out all their teeth. Then she hugged the guy and said that he could count on her. After all, he always helped her, which means she will help him too. The guy liked her offer and support, and he even blushed. When the girl decided to stand up, he pulled her in and hugged her from behind. This confused her very much and even scared her a little, but Amon said to just freeze and stand like that because he was counting on her support. In response, she simply called him a harmless nickname, but continued to stand in that position. At school, two girls approached Mashiro and said that there were rumors that Sina was in a relationship. She was seen with some guy at the mall, but Sina honestly answered that she was not in a relationship, although this guy is currently the closest person to her. Although she was worried, she told the truth, everything as it is, and the girls believed her. At home, she told the guy everything, and he believed her. Then over tea, she learned that he had started playing sports to become bolder. She was happy for him and said that she would do him something nice for his efforts. The guy agreed with difficulty, but the girl also asked him for one thing. She did not dare to say this right away, and when she was about to make a request, she immediately changed her mind and asked to pat her on the head. Amon was embarrassed by this, but they quickly forgot. This moment, at night, he has a strange dream about a girl who seduces him. He woke up in fear and did not believe that he could have dreamed such a thing. After this dream, he walked around all day and thought about it, looking dejected and thoughtful. At home, Sina asked him about his problems, if any. She even began to think that she had done something wrong, and he was angry with her. The girl did not insist on this, but the guy still decided to tell her. Having told him, she looked at him disapprovingly and asked questions. After a short dialogue, he became shy, turned away from her, and asked her not to look at his face either. Then she sat with her back and continued the conversation with him because he doesn't see her that way. The next day, Amon told the girl that he wanted to become one of the top 10 students in the school, so he prepared hard, and he even invited friends home to improve his studies. Then Sina said that if he succeeds, she will fulfill any of his wishes, even things he would never ask for. He accepted the offer, although he blushed. When friends came to them to prepare for exams, they created the right mood from the first minute. Everyone studied together, had fun, had a good time, and helped each other with their studies. Then when the group of friends left, Amon and Sina were left alone. For his efforts, she made him hot chocolate and told him that she loves to take care of those she cares about. She then walked over to Amon and ran her finger over his lips, saying that she was willing to try for his better life and pleasure, and told him to relax. However, Amon entered the top 10 students of the school and took 6th place. Sina was also included in this number and took 1st place. She said that she would fulfill his every wish, but the guy said that she took 1st place and it would be fair to give this opportunity to Sina. Already at home, he asked her what she wanted, and the girl told him to cut cucumbers, but he meant something completely different. Her request was completely different. Sina said that at the moment she is satisfied with everything and she is not asking for anything new. So the guy asked her to clean his ears. After all, his wish for his efforts was still relevant. And when she finished cooking, she took the cleaning supplies and called the guy to lie on her lap. He was very shy, but still it was his desire, and he laid down on the girl's lap, albeit with difficulty. These soft movements and gestures relaxed him. Cleaning his ears gave him a lot of pleasure and relaxed him. She then told him to roll over. When he did this, he felt even more embarrassed than before, but there was nothing to do. He turned over on the other side. He relaxed so much that he did not notice how he fell asleep. When he woke up, he saw that Mashiro was also sleeping. He got up and started to wake her up, but she didn't wake up. She was sleeping so soundly. He pulled her cheeks and told himself that even at such moments he could not confess his love to her. In the end, he had no choice but to take her home. Upon entering, he saw an empty, clean apartment, and then he began to go into her bedroom and didn't even look back so as not to accidentally see her personal belongings. Amon laid the girl on the bed and was about to leave when at that moment she called him and asked him to lie down next to her. He refused twice and placed a teddy bear next to the girl. He said that the toy would take his place. The next morning, Mashiro awkwardly walked into Amon's apartment and remembered that she had visited him yesterday. She asked if he had seen the photograph that stood near the bed, and the guy thought that she had disappeared somewhere and did not understand at all what photograph she was talking about. But he didn't see the photo, and everything was fine. She stood still as always. When she heard that yesterday she had called him her bed, she was seriously surprised by this. The next day, Sina came to him wearing only a skirt and no tights. She wanted to see his reaction. Alman reacted to this with confusion and worry. He blushed and often turned away from her. He said that if she went to school like that, all the boys would definitely look at her, although most girls at school don't wear tights in the summer anyway. In the end, she still went to school like that, and everyone there looked at her very much. Alman didn't like this because everyone was looking at the girl he loved, but he couldn't control her. Then he even began to condemn her for her new appearance and call her. At home, she said that this does not offend her at all because absolutely everyone cannot like her. There are still people who envy her and do not like her, but she does not care. Sina said that this is exactly what she expected, that she would not like absolutely everyone. It would even be too strange, but many still see her as a good girl, and she has decided to stop acting perfect. As long as there are people who appreciate her and love her for who she is, she will be happy. They sat down on the sofa, and the girl grabbed his cheeks and told him how cute he was and called him all kinds of affectionate names. He then grabbed her hand and covered her mouth with one hand, telling her that next time it wouldn't be her hand, but Sina beat him to it and immediately kissed the guy on the lips, but this did not last long. She got up and ran away to her place, leaving the guy in bewilderment and with a red face from embarrassment. The next day, they grew apart, especially Alman. Friends decided that he and Sina had a fight, but the guy said that something else happened but did not specify what exactly. At home, the girl approached him and apologized for not even staying for dinner. Alman then decided to be brave and finally asked why she kissed him. She replied that she had gone too far with her emotions and could not contain herself. Moreover, she wanted to get ahead of him because he himself said that he would do it first. The next day was declared a sports day, but the students still had to prepare for it. They were assigned different tasks, which meant they would have to compete with each other, which did not sit well with their friends. Alman asked the girl what task she was given. She replied that she must look for some object, and Alman had the same task as Sina, and also throw balls. He then took out the ice cream to eat, but Sina wanted it too, so he spoon-fed her a little. Then he came to his senses and remembered that he did not want to come so close to her, so he just gave her that ice cream and said he didn't want it anymore. The next day, they had a sports day, and the friends had to compete with each other. Shirakawa said that she came up with many of the tasks and was very happy about it. As Alman and Kataki stood waiting to compete, a friend said that Shirakawa was the best athlete in the high school club. But in high school, she decided to quit the club. Shirakawa had conflict with her comrades and did not want to quarrel with high school students again, and she had to go through a bitter experience. But now she is happy, and she has people who appreciate her. The moment came when Mishiro and Alman had to compete in the same competition where they had to look for the necessary items, and Shirakawa herself organized this and wished the guy good luck. This competition was hosted by Shirakawa herself, and she had everything planned. When they knew their tasks, Sina approached Alman and said that she needed him for a task just like the guy needs her for his mission. They did not want to admit to each other what their business was. The couple was one of the first to arrive, and Shirakawa had to read their assignment into the microphone. She opened the letter to Alman and read that the guy should bring with him a person who thinks he is strong. So he came to Mishiro, and Sina must find a man she loves most and bring him before the judge. Everyone was shocked by what they heard because she brought Alman here. The next day at school, all the kids started asking the guy when they managed to get close to Sina. They couldn't understand how such a quiet guy managed to become the closest person to such an ideal girl. He replied that they were not dating, but they were the closest people, and that was enough. When Sina came to class, she told the guys not to bother Alman, because of the questions, he didn't even have time to eat lunch. Sina was asked right in front of Alman how she fell in love with such a homely and strange man as Alman. Sina did not like this statement, and she sharply replied that it was none of their business who she should date, although there was a smile on her face. At home, they sat down and decided to talk. This could no longer continue, and they decided to sort things out between themselves. They started far away, and the guy said that Mishiro once seemed cold and unreal to him, but gradually he began to fall in love with her because she began to open her soul to him, and he loves her for who she is. He apologized for not taking the first step, which should have been taken a long time ago. The girl reciprocated his feelings. She also loved him, but was afraid that the feelings would not be mutual, and she would only ruin the relationship between them if she confessed. Alman asked Mishiro to be his girlfriend, and she agreed. They hugged, and now they have become even closer than they were, because now they have nothing to hide, and they know for sure that this is love.